Aloha and welcome back to the channel. So I'm kind of rehashing an old video. I did a video a couple years back about building a budget PC for flight simming that was capable but wouldn't break the bank. And if you're starting out time now, that video may not be as helpful as it was way back when because things have changed a little in the computer hardware world. Right now, as we sit here, computer memory like the DDR5 type stuff is just skyrocketing. It is just a 32 gigabyte set of DDR5 a year ago ran me like 120 bucks. Right now, I was looking at it online and it was coming in at 385 to $400. And the graphics cards are just going up and up and up because a lot of companies are shifting a majority or at least part of their production line over to building for the AI sector. So that means our stuff's going to get more expensive as we go. And to address that, I kind of wanted to talk about ways to build a budget PC that I didn't talk about before. So this guy here, which looks like a pretty cool PC, is old pieces parts. All right, so this entire setup here is valued at about $840 top down if it was brand spanking new. If you didn't own any bit of this before, this will run you $840. The Musatex or Musatex case was $75 on Amazon on sale. I think it's about $80 now. It's got a glass side on it, a glass front. The glass side pops right off. The processor is an it's an NVIDIA 3070 by Zotac Gaming. And I got it on Newegg refurbished for $240, $245-ish. The processor I already had, which was a Ryzen R7 5700X. The motherboard I did not have. The motherboard is an MSI A520M. It's just sitting over there. That's why I looked. I got that on Amazon for 60 bucks. I had the DDR4 that's in here. I have 32 gigabytes of DDR4, not 5. If you were to buy that today, and I factored that into the price, if you were to buy that today, you're still talking a couple $100 bucks. The power supply, I have an 800 watt power supply in there, which is more than enough. It was a leftover that I already had. You can pick those up 75 to 80 bucks. And the CPU cooler, which is the water guy up top here, you can kind of see him up here. That was about $40. I already had it. I just slapped it in. The Musetech case comes with fans. I had old lighted fans that I threw in just to add a little coolness to it, but it comes with fans. So the case itself comes with the fans. You wouldn't need to worry about that. So the whole build, top down, $840-ish. If you already have components, they'll work well with this setup. Now, this setup did good things for me, and I'm going to show you that. I'm going to do a couple quick videos, and then I'm going to tack them on. But having to go with a refurbished card, having to go with a lower end motherboard, and having to make, to stay with the AM4 CPU style from AMD, those were all, I won't call them sacrifices, but they were decisions I had to make to keep the cost down. Because when I looked at my other setups, my 14900, i9 processor, which has the 4080 graphics card, that computer has increased $1,000 in value. My main setup on my Cessna flight setup on my cockpit, I bought it at about $2,500-ish. It's now valued well over $3,500. My other computer that I built with other leftover pieces parts, which is a 12700, that computer I built for like $1,300. That computer is now well over $2,000 in value. I didn't think computers were going to go up in value over time. Apparently they do. So something like this, it'll get you by and it'll do everything you want to do. And now I'm going to show you that. All right, so here I am flying around. You can kind of see 37, 38 frames per second. I'm in a Cessna 172 flying over Boston. Let me Scroll so you can kind of take a look around the city. And you may be thinking, well, the frames per second aren't that great. Well, I'm going to show you something here real quick. When we go over to our general options, I'm running it on Ultra on a 3840 by 2160 setup. So I am running this basically as hard as it can at the highest possible resolution, and it still looks pretty good. The 3070 is handling it pretty well. It's streaming. You know, I have no problem with my bandwidth when it comes to internet and whatnot. And you can see graphics wise, you can see traffic right down here. Now, granted, Boston would have a hell of a lot more traffic than this, but you can see the traffic. You can see all sorts of stuff going on. You can see the effects on the water. Now, this is a little higher than I'm going to run it, but I wanted to show you the setup at its most demanding, which is that Ultra. Now, once I complete this turn and I've got the city in my sights here, I'll shift this down to high end, which is probably my sweet spot on this setup. All right, so we're coming around. All right, and now let's go to general options and high end, apply and save. Now let's resume. So you can see my frames per second jumped a wee bit. So I'm in the mid 40s right now. I've got a great field of view. I've got great details in the city. Now there is a little bit of, I'm going to call it shredding as I turn my head, but I'm okay with that. When you look at the rendering of the world around you, the shading in the cockpit, the details are just there. And I can look in the distance and you can see that's Logan Airport in front of me. There's activity in Logan too. So you've got all sorts of detail. You've got traffic below you. You've got taxiing aircraft. This setup does handle it well, and it does so for a fairly decent price. So if you're somebody questioning, hey, I wonder how to get into flight simulation, or I wonder, you know, especially with the skyrocketing prices, you know, what kind of PC is going to run this well, I can tell you, this is a 3070. This is a Ryzen R7 5700X. This is 32 gigabytes of DDR4 3200. It's a 1 terabyte solid state hard drive, and it runs it really well. So I wanted to show that to you. The next thing I'm going to show you real quick is going to be the controls. So here we are in a cold and dark aircraft. We're at Logan Airport, but that really doesn't matter for what I want to show you. So I'm in a Cessna, and this right here is my Turtle Beach Velocity 1 flight deck. And you can see there's my throttle, there's my mixture. So we only want the throttle in a little bit. And you can see here, you get control your flaps. But the other nice thing here, now this is a panel, it's a touch panel that comes as part of the flight deck. I went in really quickly. It took me 10 minutes to basically not only define where these switches were, but connect them directly to Microsoft Flight Simulator. So it's a pretty quick process. And I was able to go in and actually redefine a few things too, like here. There's my parking brake. It's now set. And as I go through, Let's just turned on master alternator. There's master battery. There's our avionics. So fuel pump on, fuel cutoff valve, which you can kind of see down here. If you're looking right down here where my mouse is. Fuel cutoff valve. Fuel cutoff valve is good. So let's go to pitot. Pitot just turned on. Now let's turn our lights on. There's our beacon. There's our landing light. So our lights are now on. And let's start the aircraft. So you can kind of see now on my toggle switches, so you can kind of see them as I go. And let's start the aircraft. Magnetos. So just by utilizing this guy here, I was able to control everything in the cockpit. And I'll bring it over here to show you a little bit more as we come in. This little touch display here, super configurable. This becomes my flaps lever. This is my throttle. This is my mixture. So this whole setup, $800 PC, $840-ish, $110 monitor, because this is a low-end Amazon monitor, super low-end monitor, and the joystick and everything itself. We're only talking, we're under $1,400. Most people already have a monitor sitting by at home. Again, low-end monitor. The only thing I would say that somebody else might argue with me isn't budget is the actual controllers. And I'm going to tell you, in flight simulation, if you're going to get into this, even if you're casually getting into flight simulation, what you'll find is you're going to want controls other than the keyboard and the mouse. You're going to want to be able to turn on your landing lights. You're going to want to be able to control your magnetos. You're going to want to be able to turn on things and off things without having to constantly pan around the cockpit with a mouse. You're just going to get to that point where you want to do those things. And having it on the screen there is super handy, and it's configurable. So you're going to set it up the way you want it. If you're flying a 737 or an Airbus, you could actually configure it to control the overhead panel. Holy crap, it's right there. And that functionality comes with the flight deck from Turtle Beach. Some people buy the little switch boxes, Stream Decks, which are great. I have a Stream Deck. I love it, but it comes with this. You get software with this that you can configure. So user-friendly, easy to configure, takes nothing. I would argue that for the used price of $300-ish, I got mine for much cheaper. You get a lot of functionality. And there's one other caveat with that I didn't talk about. So in-flight simulation, the more you get into it, if you start getting into, say, Intentions AI, Beyond ATC, or you go online with real people in VATSIM, what you are going to want to do, see if I have one over, I do have one handy. You're going to want to have a headset, super cheap headset. This was like a $9 or $10 headset. So I've got speakers up there, but what I can do is I can plug this guy into the joystick. Now here, I'll pan this down. On this joystick, there's a headphone jack. It will be seen in Microsoft Flight Simulator under General Options and under Sound. And I'll show you here. It's kind of backwards for you, but you can configure. All right, headphone, there you go. Communications, headset, main device, system's default voice. That's what you want is speakers, Realtek, okay. So now when you're talking to ATC and when you're doing everything, you can have the the sound of the engines coming through your main speakers. But you can have what they're talking to you about separated into your headset, so you're only getting the radio in your headset and you're talking back when you hit your push to talk button, whichever button you decide to make push to talk, which for me would probably be down here, but I could hit push to talk and talk straight to them. So it becomes a very user-friendly setup with something that a lot of joysticks don't have, which is that setup down here. Now, on my other flight sim setups, I have many. I tend to use a USB microphone or a USB headset with a microphone. These guys, I don't have to have another USB device. I can just plug in an old set of headphones. This set here, I don't even know the name of the company or whatever. These were off of Amazon for like $8.99 or $8.95 or something, and they work like a champ. I mean, they work great. I've flown with them with this joystick before, hooking it up just like this, and you do have control over volume over here as well, and you can talk not talk on here, but in flight simulation you've got a push to talk, totally configurable with say intentions beyond ATC or VATSIM, works well. So you've got a lot of functionality, you've got a lot of great things you can do here. I definitely love this setup for casual aviation. Definitely what I'm going to stick with for casual. So if you have any questions, comments, concerns on the setup, let me know. If you've got any great ideas for going budget, let me know as well. I love the idea of a casual setup, and this is my kind of just putzing around setup. I am going to do a couple more videos here shortly tomorrow. I'm hoping to jump back into Say Intentions. They've been doing a lot of great stuff. The guys at Say Intentions are putting a lot of work into that software, and I'm really impressed with it. I just haven't been flying it enough, and I've been seeing a lot of updates for it, so I really, really, really want to get back into it. So that's what I'm going to do tomorrow in the Cessna cockpit. I'm going to film it, and I'll hopefully have it uploaded tomorrow. So thank you, everybody, for sticking with me so far. You know, stay safe out there. And as always, happy flying. Happy New Year. Cheers.